Hi, my name is Jer Swigart. I'm a Christian faith leader and the co-founding director of a peacemaking training organization called the Global Immersion Project. The adventure of knowing my neighbor, developing diverse relationships, specifically interfaith relationships, has been one of the greatest adventures of my life. Not only has it taught me how to be more alive and human on this planet, it's taught me a lot about what Christian faithfulness actually looks like and what it requires of me. There are two stories that come to mind off the top of my head. One is in relationship with a Jewish sister. We were talking about our common teaching of neighbor love, and I've just been so inspired by the way that she embodies our common teaching of neighbor love in creative, costly, and collaborative ways. And toward the end of the conversation, she looked at me and she said, neighbor love is important, but faithfulness for you takes it to a next level. And I said, well, what do you mean? And she said, yeah, Jesus said something about enemy love, didn't he? And it was in that moment that Jesus became even more revolutionary for me. I understood Jesus differently as the embodiment of an enemy-loving God who loved his enemies all the way to the point of death, and then invites me to do the same, which means that Christian faithfulness doesn't mean that I treat my enemies with violence or with polite indifference, but Christian faithfulness means that I lay down my life for those that are enemy. The second is a conversation with a dear friend of mine named Sheikh Ihab of Al-Aqsa Mosque. We were sitting in the old city of Jerusalem together having a conversation about religious extremism. And I'll never forget the moment he looked at me and he said, there is one form of jihad that I think we can all agree on. And I said, what's that? And he said, it's to declare holy war against the darkest parts of yourself. And that revolutionized my understanding of transformation, not only as a Christian leader, but as a person of faith. And so it's in these relationships with my interfaith neighbors that I'm not only understanding the world better, I'm understanding the world bigger, but I'm also understanding what faithfulness actually means for me. And so I think for far too long we've lived in the myth or the misunderstanding that if we develop thriving, collaborative, authentic relationships with people of other faith traditions, it might somehow contaminate our faith. My experience tells me that it's in the context of these relationships with our interfaith brothers and sisters that we actually live out the very best expressions of our faith.